No.
Well.
Oh, just do it. What's up, Doc?
No, hat hair.
I just have hat head.
Hat head.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of
Like my head is perfect for hats.
The show. We need to get rid of that thing that you do with your mouth and what? Your voice. But
it's the small things though.
Something that was getting me down, other than the fact that I've been getting fat, and I know, yeah, not fat, but like Amani fat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
getting sluggish.
That's what I'm saying. That was really depressing. And then I didn't have any money. That was really depressing. But my YouTube, very small money came in, so now I have like $20 in my account, and now as long as it's not overdrawn, I'm happy. So But before all that,
no, go ahead.
I was having like I would call it a midlife crisis, because I don't plan on living very long. But some people might refer to it as like a quarter life crisis.
I just don't see it happening.
I feel like, because so many people my age have done so much, and I'm not really doing anything right now. So,
I think
check out our house. Look, our bathroom. Ooh, look, a towel.
Oh yeah. I think that's like a matter of entourage sometimes, because like depending on either that or like depending on like your upbringing, like even if you like defy from like the kind of like teachings you got, like it's still inbred within you. You're just kind of like, fuck, I'm late or something like that.
The hell did you just say?
I'm just saying, like, if you grew up expecting to be somewhere right now, for example,
in school, that's not that far-fetched, and with a job.
I mean, but you're getting there.
And it's not a matter of not being in school, not having a job, because I know I can do those things in my life. That goes without saying. It's like achievements or direction. Like, I don't know what I want to major in college. I know what I like, but I wouldn't be a psychiatrist. I don't want to, no offense, but I don't want to listen to people's problems. As tempting as it is to be able to dole out prescriptions, which was like the original reason I wanted to, somebody in the hospital was like,
found
no.
the deep web. You're like, I don't need this.
No, but yeah, so I'm not gonna be a psychiatrist. But what I like is behavioral psychology, neuroscience, neuropsychology, child psychology. I like to write. I like to do stuff, but my best stuff is always done when somebody doesn't tell me to do it. Except for
same, honestly.
Well, pretty much, yeah.
Well, for the most part, not like I'm like dysfunctional.
When I have like pressure and stuff, like that's something I discovered actually today, because I'd been setting all these goals. I just decided to have no goals, and my thing is just to like be. Just get through the day, because last night I was like suicidal, so just getting through the day without like dying. We have to establish like a baseline. And I have to close that door. I'm sorry.
Because it's like messing with like the camera, like.
No, it's just a thing, like OCD kind of thing.
So, you care if I have a little bit more of the? Actually, this is your.
No, it's mine.
That's your meal.
What's on that?
The one that I just made.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not copyrighted yet, but
It says copyright.
What was I talking about?
You're talking about your routine and how like. You
have goals. I don't have any goals today, and as soon as I let go of that, because yesterday I had like a piece of paper and I had goals, and they weren't even like far-fetched goals. They were like, go out, do this, like practice, read, or something like that. But as soon as I let go of that, like today, you saw, I'm writing that book and doing the music theory classes and all of that. I went outside for the first time in like a million years.
Bro, you went ham in one day just from not having any goals.
yeah, this I let go of like the I don't know, bleh, just existing. That's what I'm gonna do for now. Like even with like YouTube and stuff, I it's just a lot of pressure right now, and I've come to the conclusion that I cannot handle pressure at all.
I mean, I wouldn't say you probably can't handle pressure at all. I think, I mean, from my experience, like there's different kinds of pressure. There's pressure from yourself, but like outside pressure is like it has a different like
I put a lot
influence
of
on it.
pressure on myself
Me too.
because I'm like really hard on myself, and I've been monitoring my internal monologue because I've been like putting myself down and stuff, and I've been trying to be objective about it. Like, would you say that to somebody who was like your friend, assuming I had friends? Like, if I wake up and I'm late, it's like, oh, see, because I'm stupid. It's like, would you say that to somebody else in your situation? And I was like, no. Well, then why are you saying it about you? Because I'm stupid.
I mean, there's obviously there's standards, but
it's like
that's just that just goes to like a matter of your own character. I feel like I do better with outside pressure because when it's outside pressure, it's like, well, I have to do this for someone. Sometimes when I just put pressure on myself, I just procrastinate more. For example.
Yeah, I procrastinate a lot.
My procrastination has actually gotten worse over the years. It's actually gotten worse over the years. Like I was supposed to make
that's probably because you've gotten more projects.
Well, stuff. Yeah, there's that, and like I don't know, some of the things that I wouldn't procrastinate on before seem kind of trivial. Like I still have I had a lot of old hobbies, especially like in art and stuff like that, and I still do that kind of stuff, and I'm still fairly good at it. But when you're not in that come up phase where you have to like practice and like build up to be that, it's like, well,
that's what happened with me in guitar.
Now all you have to
Once
do is,
I mastered like the how to play it was like, what now? So then I slowly stopped playing it, and then it didn't help that I got really depressed. And then
that'll do it. That'll do it.
Yep, that'll do it.
That'll do it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean, I practiced the trombone for like the first time in months. A couple of days. You were there that day. That was the day. Well, I mean, you're there. You're here every day, but it was the day I showed you that Thin Lizzy song. I think it was the day I brought that speaker down here.
Yeah.
I forgot about it. Yeah, I was practicing trombone. Man, it's weird. After not practicing for a while, but I can read music better for some reason. Because it's like if you do something, forget about it, go back to it, forget about it. It's kind of like no time passes when you start going back.
With me in music theory, like you saw what I was looking at, I'd already learned all that stuff, but I'm relearning it, and reading it is actually harder. But that's just in general, reading is harder for me. I don't know if it's because I hallucinate, so sometimes things move around. That's probably it. And he's like, sounds like a personal problem.
I don't know, I mean, music is like, it's like a language to me. It's like, it would be different if it was like I don't know. I mean, actually, just the music I do, because I can't play the guitar, for example. So if I were to start learning how to play the guitar, and it wasn't like my bass instrument, I'd probably like have trouble when I do music.
Your bass instrument.
Yeah, bass instrument. But yeah, the
so the trumpet would the trumpet be my bass instrument?
Was that the first instrument you played?
Well,
actually, I think
no. We all started on the piano because of Dad.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say I wouldn't consider your bass instrument the first one you played. I would consider it like
the first one you were passionate about.
Yeah,
then it's the trumpet.
Just the instrument that you stick to, because like I played the violin, but that is definitely not my bass instrument.
No, as soon as back Congo, like I figured out how many instruments Prince played. I was like, well, I'm gonna play a million instruments.
Oh, Prince.
Yeah.
The whole squad is gone. MJJ, Prince, George Michael. That was the final straw for me.
Michael Jackson had been long gone though.
Oh yeah. Oh man, I was like 10 when Michael Jackson died.
Yeah, that was almost a decade ago actually. Yeah. Think about it.
2 years. It's gonna be a decade.
But I can say I was alive at the same time as him. Same with David Bowie and George Michael and stuff, and all the kids who were born later. I existed in a time where David Bowie songs were still coming out.
I was alive at the same time as Saddam Hussein people. Eddie
Okay.
Jr., if you're watching this, boom, Saddam Hussein, brethren.
Yeah, use buzzwords like that. That'll get my video.
Uh-oh, there goes your money.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Well,
But I don't know.
synchronicity. I just saw the word fragile there, and I was just thinking of like how delicate some people's ears are.
Ears?
Ears, as in like like some people are sensitive to certain topics.
That's not ears. That's like
Well,
anxiety, like with me, my PTSD. I hear the theme song for freaking Law and Order, and I spiral.
hold up. What instrument is that? Hold on.
Is it a gong? A small gong?
It's it's that Chinese like
Yeah, it's
thing. It's not a gong. It's like, actually, hold on.
it's like a hollow thing. I don't know, but I don't want to talk about Law and Order.
There is no such thing as law and order. There is no good or bad. There is only war. Straight up.
War is peace.
Mm-hmm. The very concept of good and bad is war itself.
War is peace. What was the other one?
Yeah, I mean, you can't have peace unless
Ignorance
you're
is what?
bliss.
No, the 1984, the book 1984.
Oh, I was just thinking back to like a whole not a book report, a presentation I did in philosophy about ignorance being bliss. It was the one that you helped me with, the one that started with like the Apollo thing, and like the conspiracy theories and how like if they were true.
I've helped so many people with their homework. I mean, you'd have to.
I used to do people's homework and not do mine because I would get paid to do people's homework.
And you didn't do your homework because
I wouldn't get paid to do my homework. I'm not saying like I've never done homework before, but I've only been doing people's homework. I'm just saying like if I had like a 800 word essay to write and someone was going to pay me to write an internal assessment on like the
There it
Nazis
is.
during World War II.
War is peace, freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength. I thought that was
Ignorance
so
is
like
strength.
you'd have to try very hard to
You really
convince people that that's that.
But do you really think ignorance is strength though?
Do I think so? Well, first
Yeah.
of all, I think that 1984 looked nothing like the book because I've seen it.
Yeah. Even Back to the Future got the future wrong.
Ronald Reagan,
Back to the Future got the 80s wrong. They even got the 50s wrong. So.
Right? I invented Johnny B. Good.
Yeah.
At my parents' prom. And at the last moment, they kissed and it came back.
I was thinking, like, what if I went back to the 80s to, like, an 80s homecoming dance or something and, like, started playing, like, Vince Staples or, like, I don't know, Kanye West. And they're like, oh, man, you guys aren't ready for this yet. And
you would come back and everything would be the same. And then you'd notice that everything that led up to how you are there matches with what you did in the past. And you'll be like, oh. So that's why because I went to the past and there's so many paradoxes. I love talking about like paradoxes and like really pointless stuff, like the Hitler paradox. Like, what would happen if you killed Hitler? What would life be like if you killed him when he was a kid?
oh,
that would like throw the whole
That's
world.
more of like a butterfly effect, not as much of a paradox. Oh, that thing just. I love how it like self-destructs. Just commit suicide every time.
If it's not working.
It's like Sonic, jump off the level when he gets bored. Which was a dumb idea, Sega.
Yeah. Long story short, stuff is getting done because I let go. So I just need to keep letting go and not being so hard on myself because I'm really hard on myself.
It's like high school friends, for example. You know, the ones that you don't even try sometimes to keep the good ones. They just stay, and then everyone else is just like. But yeah, the rest of them they'll just disappear after a while. But when you're there, that's your universe because that's where you spent. Wait, not in my case because I spent like half of high school in school, but and I kept switching high schools, but. I had no idea that I'd be friends with the people I'm friends with now, even a year ago.
Well, yeah, if you told younger me that I was going to be this, I wouldn't have believed you. I don't even.
I would have been Sice to be me now.
Well, yeah, because
I don't.
you're done with all the school.
I don't think I would have ever. I'm not a hard person to satisfy, but like, it's hard for me to be satisfied with like I always tried to be ahead of the curve in some way, and like
You push yourself.
yeah, and it's like I let it come naturally.
It's the Amani family way.
Sometimes it's just a matter of like observing other people, and I try not to be too like oh, this is my
I always observe people.
disposition.
I observe people and see what they do wrong. That's one of the ways that I learn. I look at people who have made great mistakes, and then like smaller mistakes, because you can learn a lot from mistakes.
I think it's interesting to see the similarities between you and like other people. Like,
no one.
just like in the way people act sometimes. Like I'll be like, okay, not only have I been in this scenario before, but like if I wasn't, I know I would have done the same thing as them, for example, or I would have done something differently.
Yeah, people always say, "Well, I would have done this," but it's like
hindsight bias.
Yeah, hindsight bias, and also you have to take into account their entire life. If everything that had happened to them in their life also happened to you, then would you still act the same? And it's like, no.
Yeah, and it's weird because when you're talking to someone, there's that you could either believe one of two things: that you really don't know what's going on in their head, you have no idea what their life is like, you're just seeing them there, or you could be like, well, I'm talking to the person themselves, and they're being themselves. But like me personally, like I don't even think about my past that much, but I'm a result of my past. You know what I'm saying? Like if my past were different, would I be acting different now? You don't even. I mean,
what are you saying?
I'm just saying like I was actually going off the same thing that you said about the Hitler paradox, kind of, except this is less of a paradox. I'm just saying like if my life were different, I'd be in a completely different place right now, but I just don't remember my past. So it's like it made a difference, but I don't know what the difference is. Does that not make sense to you?
It does not make sense to me.
It makes sense to someone out there. I guarantee it.
When you watch over this video, it makes sense to me. You're that one person.
Oh my God.
But
I'm kind of just like speaking at this.
Like even this video, see how it's about nothing?
Oh,
it's
late disclaimer.
It's because there's no goals anymore. It's not striving. I'm not gonna compare myself to other people because that's what I've been doing for the longest time.
You know what's worse than comparing yourself to other people?
What wrong with my hair? It's like got this thing in the back.
Sometimes it's worse when you compare yourself to your prime, whatever you think your prime is.
Yeah, I always do that. That's why I think I suck.
And then, but like, I'll think back to like, what made it my prime? Was it what I was doing?
I was headed for the Olympics, man. Like,
well, yeah.
How am I gonna?
Even when I was doing drum corps, for example, which I'm still gonna go back and do, like, I was doing really good in drum corps, but like, I was a shitty person in my head.
Yeah, I used to
like I had a horrible headspace back then.
I used to be a jerk.
I mean, I wouldn't say I was a jerk, but like.
Well, you will soon. Like when I was 19, I was.
A jerk. I don't just look behind. I look ahead too. I have enough older siblings to be able to like gauge what I want and not want to come out of the future.
Oh. I'm just swimming in younger siblings.
Oh, I thought you were saying like you were a younger sibling at first. I was like,
Yep.
Yep, same here.
Older siblings.
I'm like swimming in like. I'm not even the middle.
You're in the middle. Like, you're not swimming. You're wading.
Literally, I have. Okay, let's see. I think I still am technically in the middle, if you count Jonathan, who's like I guess like some kind of bastard child or something.
So far.
How many? I don't even know how many siblings I have anymore.
It's the Amani family, hundreds of cousins.
The Amani house.
The
Amani house.
Out of control.
My last name isn't Amani, by the way. So, if you see me like making moves late at night.
My name is Pedro.
With guns and stuff, it's not me. My last name isn't actually Amani. I was adopted.
Oh yeah, he was adopted. You can tell because his name is Amani.
Oh yeah. Well, that's my first name.
Amani Edwari.
Amani.
No.
What is
Maya.
first? What is first? Dun, 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 dun.
There was a kid named Amani in our class, so I got to be Maya. Well, everybody else
There's
was
a lot
like
of
Mushagalusa. And what about your name? Mushagalusa. There was an argument.
You have no idea how many people had that same last name.
When you were in the hospital, the doctor was
Seymour.
coming, and we were like, what's the doctor's name? It's probably Chi something. That made Mom laugh so hard.
That's like it's like, oh, his name is probably something Sin.
Sin or Ez.
Ez.
Chi something.
Garcia, the whole entire name is like, I'm pretty sure that was at some point the most common last name in the country.
Really?
Garcia.
It wasn't like.
Or maybe not in the country, but like in a certain field.
Mohammed or something?
Mohammed? This country?
Oh, I thought you meant in the world.
No, in the world, no. It's probably like
Mohammed.
some Chinese name, you know.
No, in the world, I think it is. One sec, now I want to check.
It was common. Well, I don't think the population necessarily reflects the last name statistics. I know what the least common last name is, though.
It's Mohammed, yeah.
Jaegerman Jensen. What?
It's Mohammed.
In the world?
Yeah.
Oh, I think like in the country.
Like I've had so many Mohammeds in our class. Mohammed.
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 Mohamed.
Mohaima.
Mohimed.
Falling asleep.
Mahima. Remember Mahima?
Mahima?
Mahima, Jesus, like friend turned rival or something like that.
Was she?
No, I'm talking Mahima from like Southlake.
Oh.
One of Jesus' friends.
I don't know Jesus' friends.
It was like Jesus Jeffrey. You used to always tease about Mahima.
Oh, yeah. Well, I doesn't mean I know her. I'm not friends with Jeffrey.
I'm just saying, remember Mahima. Like, you remember, like, the Mahima era.
Yeah. I guess that might be a derivative of Muhammad. Mushagalu. Et toi, ton nom?
I know Josh comes from Jesus. That's all I know.
Okay.
It's like, no, that's not all I know. See what I did there? Oh yeah, late disclaimer. I actually haven't slept in like 3 days. Not even on purpose, but my body just does that sometimes.
It's because he's an artist.
Yeah, I'm kind of used to, I actually used to procrastinate so hard. Okay, first of all, I procrastinated so hard that I became more efficient than people. Second of all,
you were so bad that you started.
Yeah, like literally, I learned how to like crunch time. I feel like I had time in my hands and I could just.
I used to do people's homework because I had a lot of time on my hands. Teacher hated it.
I always had.
I was telling Moria that story. The teacher, she said this thing. It was like about cheating. It's not the cheaters never prosper or something. It was like by cheating, you're only cheating yourself or something like that. And I'm like, wait, you're telling me that by me studying and getting 100% on my paper and other people cheating off of me, I'm only cheating myself? She just looked at me like, I saw her at Trader Joe's once, but I didn't want her to.
Yeah. This is a teacher from like around here.
Watkinsville. I was like, I'm leaving. She's like, you can't leave.
Staff at that school are amazing.
Oh,
the kids are. That's the worst contrast you can have. When the staff are perfect, but the kids are like ass. And it didn't get better. The school did not get better.
He said, and it didn't get
better. No.
Lake Forest Mall, and it didn't get. After I left, it didn't get better.
The mall. I'm pretty sure someone bought that mall.
Yeah,
just like someone bought Cider Mill, and like they're changing up the names. That's why everyone's moving.
Yeah, I got a letter from Cider Mill.
They're trying to ask you back.
Trying to get me to go to court or something. I was
court.
Like, because I signed my name on the thing. Just because Dad told me to. Then Dad, he wrote in his. It was his own handwriting. It was in pen. It wasn't on the letter. It was outside the letter. Prostitution, fraud, drug dealing.
Wait, Dad wrote that?
Racketeering. And then he was like, and are you
Hold on, where the hell did fraud come from?
I love how I love. I didn't do any of those things.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, like,
but
like,
the one you chose was fraud.
I'm just saying. I mean, because I could. The
No,
other ones
but-
seem kind of
no,
passable.
I don't even know what racketeering is. It was.
Sounds like I don't know what's that making a lot of noise.
He was trying to like he was saying something like, "Did you read your letter?" And I thought he was talking about the jury duty summons that I did read, and I was like, "Yeah, it was for jury duty." He's like, "Oh
No.
yeah," and I was like, "Yeah, it literally said jury duty summons," and he's like, "Sure." Then I went downstairs and I saw it and I was like, "What the heck?" Like I had a mini palpitation, but like.
Man.
If even if it was true, which I know it's not, I would come to court and just laugh. Your Honor.
I got so nervous in the courtroom. I couldn't even sit still. And it's weird because I've been at like sometimes I can't control. Okay, I mean that's whenever I'm anxious, I can't control it. Obviously, like I'll be sitting down, I'll be thinking straight. I'll be like, I shouldn't be anxious right now, but a couple minutes prior, like I will have thought of something over and over again, and then like I start reacting to it physically, and then like I'm in a clear headspace, but like my heart's still like beating at the speed of light.
You don't have to explain anxiety to me, bro. I'm the king of bread
horrible.
here. I'm the king of bread here.
That's like my 1/4. You know, 1/4. That didn't make sense. That's like my 1/4 as opposed to having like a bajillion pennies. My anxiety is horrible, but that's it.
Oh yeah, it can be crippling.
Some pretty traumatic experiences too, guys.
Yeah, this family, like the Kardashians, ain't got nothing on us. We got real family secrets. We got real trauma. They have fun things.
Fun things.
Oh, it's funny.
I would always subconsciously like make artwork about past experiences. You know, I'll be writing a song. I'm like, fuck, I don't even know what to call this. But like,
it's writing. When I do my writing, a lot
writing.
I'm
literally writing.
And when we moved, I lost all the stuff. It got rearranged, and I know people have gone through it, and I'm like, oh my god.
You're writing stuff.
And think that I'm a horrible monster because of what I was writing, Clockwork Orange type stuff. But it was supposed to be for therapy.
Yeah, I mean, if they really think you're a monster for trying to prevent yourself from making the things that you write come to life,
they're never gonna say I'm a monster. I kind of don't want them to find because it was like my diary.
Right. I haven't had a diary since I was like 12.
I had all my notebooks.
When I was 12, that was the first time I had a diary too.
From like 5th grade even. Oh, but you know all the stuff is in there, back there.
Oh yeah, locked away in the chamber of secrets in your place.
Yeah,
I think I used
Dad's
to.
wife did that.
I would just lose. Okay, the cahiers, like those all got lost just because, like, first of all, my handwriting was trash. Second of all, I'm not gonna keep a notebook about like, you know, how to multiply like something.
Divide in a way that it's like.
I kept all my high school, like my theory of knowledge notebook, psychology notebook, physics. I still have that stuff just because not only do I have all the formulas and stuff, I showed how I did it because our teacher couldn't explain for shit.
Our teacher didn't show up.
Oh yeah, no. That's like.
That was like it took.
Think of your teacher not showing up except in like physical form. Like he was there, but like half the time he'd be doing what every teacher shouldn't do. They'd be like
the thing.
What?
Don't go.
Oh yeah. Literally, that thing that you're not supposed to do when you're in any kind of like leadership position where you say, I don't know what I'm doing. That was my teacher every day. He would get like the smartest kids in the class. Yeah. I ended up being one of them, obviously, all the time. To like go explain some conceptual physics. I'm just like, this stuff isn't really that hard. His problem wasn't that he didn't know it because he has like a degree. It's just that like sometimes wording it to make kids understand is hard.
Don't become a professor. It's a horrible job. Kidding, Eddy.
Spaghetti.
On my Quora, I wrote about it. The stories about him are popular. I could make a composite character out of him. I swear. He what do they call on your card? When they would sign you like.
They would sign.
Yeah. What what was it?
What?
Carte, like what?
Oh, what was the card called?
No, what was it called? Like when you actually sign it?
Yeah, they write you up.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
He wrote me up for my birthday.
Oh man.
Like we all stood up, and it was.
And the rule
then he
is
decided we're not sitting today. The class will just stand. I have to stand because like maybe he couldn't find his chair or something. I have to stand. We're all standing, and like
2 mediocres.
it was like
out.
happy birthday to me.
That's how.
Also,
it works, right?
no student is allowed to use the bathroom. Kind of. That's what I'm saying. What kind of
Because
rule
yourself
is
in class. Give them a piece of your mind.
it was go to my Cora, people. For,
Me and Jordan used
for
to get
more
like
information, go to my Cora.
We used to get like 10 mediocres.
But my Cora is just Imani, not my Imani.
Your Cora.
I like Cora. It's kind of like a social networking thing, so everybody's smart.
Oh.
Do you think we've tortured the people enough with our rambling? At least it's not manic.
I don't think we've tortured them enough, but I think we've tortured them sufficiently. The difference is, we won't have tortured them enough until everything is on the table, but nothing will ever always be on the table. Because if everyone knew the story of my life, it would just be weird. You know, I wouldn't be able to live like a normal human being anymore. I'd be like a celebrity.
He's the crazy one.
They know.
Right.
See, I'm the worst kind of crazy. I'm the crazy person that doesn't really have much mental illness.
What?
I mean, I have like anxiety. That's not really like mental illness, though.
It is.
Anxiety?
It is. It's just and that was something I was talking about. Probably some video or somebody that with schizophrenia, it's like undeniable. Because some people are like, oh, you know, with depression, oh, just get over it and stuff like that. But when I'm like buck naked talking about the aliens are coming, spreading peanut butter on myself, you're not gonna say, I mean, just snap out of it, you know?
No, of course not.
That's what I'm saying. So, in terms of mental illness and people understanding that you're sick, yeah.
See, like, I always, because the thing is, like,
because, like, if you have a job and you're saying, like, I have depression and stuff, so I can't work, or versus I had a psychotic break and I lost touch with reality, so I couldn't work.
What's going on now, really, is
it's the same thing. It's
like, literally, I've had the same, like, headspace. Like, I've had the same crap going on in my head for, like, as long as I can remember. Just that, like, I didn't express it the same way. You know, like.
What does that mean?
For example, growing up, I used to get, like, horrible anxiety. But.
Really?
Yeah.
Now it doesn't make the.
Yeah, no, it's already, like. But, yeah, I used to have horrible anxiety. But, like, I always had ways to channel it because I didn't even recognize it as anxiety. Like, anxiety for me was like fear, right?
I thought anxiety was when you were excited and afraid.
Excited and afraid.
Or excited and nervous, or something like that, because that's what Miss Hooper said. Or Mrs. Boucher.
It's when I started I'm telling you, when I started recognizing it as anxiety is when it started getting bad. Because I was like, oh snap, this is what's going on inside me. And then I start panicking more. Before I would, get anxious and just be like, I'm probably nervous or something. I don't know. And it's probably because of like just the stuff that I used to do. Like I remember, actually, I'm not gonna talk about that. But another instance,
it took so long for you though. You didn't have to suffer as long as you did. I kept saying like you're probably just sick. You should see a doctor. And you were just like, no, just
because like anxiety, that's like the inveterate thing, right? But sometimes there's like other stuff going on, and like I feel like it's a phase. Like I've had anxiety most of my life, but there'll be like a time where I have a little bit more stress and I'm a little bit more like irritable, And then Dad's like, you probably have like marijuana-induced bipolar, is what he said. I was like, Dad, probably not.
Marijuana?
Because I actually talked to a doctor, and I definitely do not have bipolar disorder. That is for sure.
Did you really
I
talk? Did you?
yeah. Every time he would tell me to go see a doctor, I would go see the doctor.
What did they say?
He was just mad because I wouldn't get my annual physical because I told him I already got it before I did track, which I did.
Yeah,
But
but what did the doctor say in terms of like mental health?
mental health. Well, I'm actually like all I really have is anxiety, and I was showing a lot of signs of depression. But I told him everything that I was going through, and he's like, you know what? You're probably not depressed just because you're stressed out by IB exams and stuff. That's probably just like, I mean, senioritis, like lack of motivation. You know, you feel like the end is near, and like when the school year ended, I wasn't feeling depressed like that anymore.
Somebody told me senioritis is when you just don't study and
No.
skip school.
Senioritis.
Well, I mean, okay, but
Well, it's whatever you make of it. Honestly, it's just the act of like, I feel like it's mainly lack of motivation. Is what senioritis is.
lack of motivation is abolition.
Yeah.
It's a symptom of schizophrenia.
But it was so confusing because there were literally days where it wasn't just school on my mind. Like I would wake up during like winter break and just be like, like I feel like I could do something. Nothing seemed interesting. I was actually like physically tired. It was like bed became comfortable.
Well, you can
And
be like depressed and then have it go away.
Yeah, I know. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
For me, I knew I was depressed when things that used to be fun weren't fun. Things that used to be fun, I ran away from. Like when we were hanging out at the Lucci's, I would like go upstairs and lock myself in Celia's room.
sometimes I think what I would purge sometimes. Like I would do things and then I'd feel like I'm doing something so much that it sucked the life out of it. And then I just like stop doing it. Like it could be anything. Like I'd stop listening to certain songs, stop writing about certain types of subjects. You know,
Yeah,
I stopped running for like a whole month, which is big for me. You know, well, I didn't do anything, but you know, I stopped running. Stuff like that. You know, I would just be like a tolerance break, if anything. And after that,
From
like
running.
after that I was perfectly fine. It was like I go ham too much. Like I'm always doing the most. I think that's like my mental issue.
That's
Doing the most syndrome.
That seems to be a reoccurring theme here amongst us. Me, you,
Ziza.
yeah.
Ziza does
Ziza's
the utmost.
But
she's good at it.
you're
That's
some
the thing.
things she succeeds.
Yeah.
She does the most in succeeding.
See, there's different types of doing the most. There's the doing the most where like you're a try hard, but you end up with a good result, and then there's the doing the most where you keep going until and like you're done, but like you're just like
They always said
I gotta keep going.
They always said I was doing the most. I was
doing the most
because you know we were reading 9th grade, so we were reading of Mice and Men, and you know Dad like. Oh, I'm doing it where I start to sound manic because I'm going off topic. But Dad said,
I mean,
you like math instead of like literature because math there's always a correct answer. You know, so you can get 100%. You could write a really good essay.
Only took me 1 year of like physics to learn that I was wrong.
But with literature, you can write this great essay and still just get 95%. And I was like, you know, your professor dad's trying to teach you about stuff. And what the hell was I talking about? Talking about
how like Dad always told you to like math more than literature.
Yeah, and then
this is the whole doing the most thing.
This is how I was doing the most apparently. Of Mice and Men. It's a really small book. Like when I think of chapter books, I'm like ingrained to think of Harry Potter.
I mean, I read
books.
the Bible, so like
the Bible, like, Harry Potter, a series of unfortunate events. Like when I think of chapter books, I think of big books. That was like Isaac Asimov. That was like Isaac Asimov magazine, basically sized.
Honestly, I think you were the only one that read those.
What I would do? Oh, I loved it because I love sci-fi.
You would read them to me, so I didn't really have to read them. So.
Yeah, even then
I'm a huge
things would be like disappearing on but that's off topic. What I was trying to say is they would say I was doing the most because they were like, we want you to read chapter something and then they would ask, what do you think is going to happen in chapter something. So I just took the book, took it home and just read the whole thing in like one sitting, And then every time they asked, well, what do you think is gonna happen in the something, I would just write what happens, and I would get 100%. That's how you. That's how you get 100% in literature. And people asked why, and I was like, guys, this is a very short book. You can just read the book. Everything will make much more sense if you read the book. And they were just like, no, you're just doing the most.
You probably thought the pace was painfully slow, huh?
It was painfully slow. It's a short book being doled out. Like, oh.
I mean, okay, so here's the deal. I can confidently say that for the most part, I wasn't like doing the most because I was just on my grind. Doing the most.
No, I mean, I was just being me.
That's what I'm saying. Like, doing the most would entail, like, that would imply that you have to, like, leave your comfort zone and become a tryhard. Yeah. And there were points where I did do that because I felt like either I was behind on something or, like, I had more potential. Like, I could push myself harder. But, like, that's what you're supposed to do.
Oh, I don't know. I like to learn. I like academia. And it's like to be around people who don't like learning as much as I do, which is a lot, sort of infuriates me. And it harkens back to our years of homeschooling. And I realize that that's probably what I'm going to do.
I mean, I've just been in, like, way too many, like, weird kinds of schools. So it's like...
Yeah. We have the experience of have gone to like every kind of school that there is, and I can honestly say that homeschooling is the best. But our parents are both professors, so
yeah. I mean, I like the I liked the vibe of like
and
high school.
Homeschooled kids get like cool stuff too.
Cool stuff, yeah. Free time.
We got ice cream, Sundays, the Museum of Science.
Don't gotta tell me twice.
Sleepovers.
That
with
one
the
year,
dinosaur.
What was that one year? Oh man!
This
is actually the 10th anniversary of that year. I took a year off when we were in Goma. That was literally the year I like experienced the most.
Okay. We are talking about stuff that people are not gonna be able to relate to anymore.
Oh, sorry.
Like now we're just sort of so maybe we can end the video here because it's been like more than 40 minutes. So.
Wait, did I give the disclaimer about how I haven't slept in like...
Oh, it's okay. I already said he's the crazy one.
I'm actually the smart one in the house. I'm like the guy that doesn't have to join Mensa to prove that he's a genius, you know? That's me. I'm not insecure about my geniusness. I'm actually incredibly stupid.
He actually is kind of a genius. There are different kinds of intelligence.
I was actually like gonna get on that whole topic, but I was like, you know what?
You didn't want to toot your own trombone?
Yeah, plus, I mean, like, I wouldn't know how to.
Yeah, guys, this might come as a shock to you, but I'm kind of like the stupid one in the family. And before you get all, no, it's because I was the athletic one. Like, that was me.
I mean, I did track and stuff. Nothing. The prodigy right here. Let's see. I think, I mean, there's a whole dynamic, you know, in the house.
No, now it's just too many kids.
Well, yeah, I mean now, but like there used to be a solid dynamic. Ziza was always like the angel.
Yeah.
You know.
Till Philip took that role.
Ziza was the angel. I feel like. See, I wouldn't say Moria. I don't consider Moria a klutz really, but like he was always like the.
He was like a nerd because he's mega smart.
Yeah, but like he was always like whenever he would mess up, it always seemed like 800 times worse because he would overreact and be like, "Fuck, Dad's gonna kill it." Oh.
That's what I'm saying. Because I mean, usually people. I mean, he's autism spectrum, so.
Yeah.
That's how we do.
I was always getting into trouble growing up. I still am, but it's different.
Oh yeah, I mean, you were Maya 2.0.
We were literally.
Who did it, right? Maya.
Same. This is my soulmate right here.
I didn't do it. And then we said one day, both Eddy and I are not gonna be here, and something's gonna go wrong.
That's why I'm not like necessarily anybody's bitch, because it was always both of us against the man. And that's how it should be. Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that show. I ain't no bitch.
I'm not no
bitch. I am nobody's bitch.
Let me get one thing straight. I'm nobody's bitch.
Right. Woo! Woo!
Are you stupid?
No. Do you smoke cigarettes?
No.
No.
I'm not no bitch.
Not no bitch.
What?
Yeah, man.
Look at you want to take this outside? Said nothing about taking it outside. I know you might be
Casual
slightly
outside.
stupid.
But yes.
I'll ask questions, you give the answers. And he's like, we can take it outside.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Can we take it out? Can we take it out?
Can we be caught outside?
Headass. How did we, like, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah.
We're talking about how we're gonna end this. You're doing. I do that all the time. Like.
It's because we just start talking. I'm
Rambling.
like droning. I don't.
Okay, fine. Let's end the video.
Wait. Let it get to like whatever. Let it get to like 45. There's no way in hell that was like 45 minutes. Literally felt like I've been here for like 3 seconds. Hey. Oh.